Hello everyone. I'll share a story with you today that I happened to read in a magazine of curiosity. I was really amazed when I read it one day while I waited patiently for service at a barbershop since, a lot of the time, truth is better than fiction. I wanted you to know that not everything that seems to be perfect is, which is why I wanted to share it with you all. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. This narrative centers on a Mexican bridal pair from Puebla. This was Sandra, who was 25, and Javier, who was 28. He was a well-known lawyer, and she was the city's most famous dentist. One day, Javier came to Sandra's office with a terrible toothache, and when he saw Sandra, he experienced what is known as love at first sight. Since Javier knew that Sandra wasn't really interested in him, he cleverly requested for her phone number, claiming that he would call her if he had any more toothaches or required any dental work. Sandra handed Javier the phone number, certain he would simply be another patient. A few weeks later, Javier picked up the phone and gave her an invitation to go out. After 3 years of dating, they made the decision to tie the knot. They had discussed the matter for a while and decided that getting married would come first, followed by trying to have a kid. It would be the ideal marriage, the fulfillment of every child-rearing desire. However, their ambition was only partially fulfilled because despite their youth, they were unable to conceive a child, despite their best efforts. They received care from a number of clinics and medical facilities that focused on the condition, but Sandra's condition was bleak since she had a physical issue that kept her from getting pregnant. They experienced the agony of not being able to conceive after much effort. Thus, the notion of adopting took shape, and the adoption procedure was initiated. However, the paperwork took a while. They committed themselves to raising a pit bull puppy they had purchased in the interim. Though it's hard not to, this pair made an effort to keep their thoughts about it to themselves. Javier had always wanted a son or daughter who would greet him home with an embrace and the title Dad. Sandra shared their feelings, but in the meanwhile, they put in a lot of effort to ensure that they would have enough money to provide for this kid's needs when the time came, regardless of whether Sandra became pregnant or the adoption center provided them a child. They held that the purpose of having a kid is not to cause them suffering, but rather to relieve them of it. Sandra would occasionally experience depression because she believed that her infertility, and not her husband's, was the reason he was unhappy. But Javier saw how devastated she was and gave her a hug, stroking her hair and saying, "Easy, love," as she sobbed on his shoulder. "The time will come for us to have our child, and everything will be well. Perhaps existence has spared us to love an isolated creature, and as a result, we are unable to procreate." Feeling so supported, she gave him a hug and became calmer. As time went on, company started to grow rapidly. Sandra was forced to move the office to a clinic with additional dentists since she was unable to handle the demand on her own. Sandra formed a partnership with 5 more dentists to open a clinic with the capacity to see up to 30 patients each day. It was a fantastic business. A few years later, they made the decision to relocate the dental clinic to another city. Javier was forced to leave the legal practice due to their success so he could focus on running one of the additional sites. During one of their excursions, they stopped in Central Park for ice cream. They saw a 12-year-old girl in a wheelchair beside the fountain pleading for money, wearing a shabby red outfit. Javier said to Sandra, "Observe the way life is." Those who have children frequently do not want them, or worse, leave them, despite our best efforts to create and provide for them. After purchasing an identical ice cream to their current one, Sandra and Javier visited the girl. The girl said, "Are you so kind as to give me some money or food?" As they got closer, "I will gladly accept it." Saying, "Look, baby, we brought you an ice cream." Javier approached. The girl began to weep as soon as she spotted the ice cream. Sandra questioned, "Why are you crying? Is there a pain?" "No, ma'am," the young lady answered. "It's just that it reminded me of my parents who used to bring me an ice cream like that when we went on trips." After analyzing the girl's response, Sandra concluded that, indeed, her parents loved her and that, at the very least, they were a typical family with enough money to purchase ice cream. "What is your name?" Javier then inquired, to which the girl answered, "My name is Maria Jose." "And why do you need to beg?" "Where are your parents located?" Javier inquired. Tears flooded Maria Jose's eyes as a rush of memories returned. "My brother Carlitos, my mother Rosa, and I lived in a big house," she said to them. Their massive enterprise was solely focused on producing prefabricated homes. "We were content. Because my brother and I are twins, we studied together at school. Nothing was lacking for us. My father owned a large, exquisite blue vehicle. When we went on vacation to the city one day, the truck we were in wrecked because of a careless drunk driver. When the impact hurled us into an abyss, my younger brother and my parents also perished there. The doctor informed me that when I woke up, I was unconscious. The fact is that I don't recall much since I was severely injured in the accident, which caused me to lose some memory and movement in my legs. The doctors released me once I recovered. I haven't been able to go back to my hometown since I can't recall what it is because I don't remember much. I've been living in this park for almost a year now, thanks to the generosity of others. To be honest, this is the first time I've communicated my tale to anyone." Whether Maria Jose was telling the truth, Javier and Sandra decided to assist her after paying close attention to the narrative. After they brought her to live with them, Javier, a lawyer, got up to speed and started looking for the girl's real life and genuine city. He began looking for an accident online that fit the description the girl had given him. He searched for that accident for several days without success. He then proceeded to the city's officials, and, surprise, they were brought to the location of the wrecked truck. Upon closer inspection, he discovered several cards belonging to Maria Jose's father that contained the factory's name, address, and city. The young lady was being honest. When he visited the factory, he saw that Maria Jose lived alone with her parents and that the manager was still in charge of running the business. He got in touch with them, told them the tale, and said that Maria Jose was their sole heir and that he would bring her back so she could resume her life in her home. He told his wife and Maria Jose the news as soon as he arrived home. They packed their luggage and headed to the girl's residence since they could not believe it. When they got to Maria Jose's house, the enormous, exquisite home was already mostly covered in dust and grass. Maria Jose said to them, "I appreciate your assistance. Would you want to move in with me in this house as you accepted me when I needed it and I don't have a family? I mean, I'm not related to anyone. Put another way, you are my new family." As Javier and Sandra met eyes, they knew that what Javier had told to Sandra years before had come true. They were bringing happiness to a young girl without a family. How did you feel about this narrative? Is it possible that Javier was correct to assist Maria Jose, or ought he to have let another attorney handle this? I appreciate you seeing. Would you kindly like and post the video on social media? We'll respond to you as soon as we can. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.